Hello everyone. Welcome to Codeover Day 22. In yesterday's video, we set up our MySQL database so we can pull the information of the flights, the American Flights API, from a database. Now, we tried to run it in the last video. We tried to run the application to see if it worked, but we get a 500 server error because we need to do some transformation of the data before sending it back to the client. And that is exactly what we are going to do today. So this is what we had. And now we're going to be adding a transform message right here. So let's search for transform here. And now this is not very really useful, right? And you know what? I'm just going to copy and paste whatever was in the thing. So there we go. Format document. Perfect. So we have our transform message with this message, and we're going to set a payload. So this is going to be transform message. And inside here, the C data is where we are going to actually create our DataWeave code. So let's start by DW2.0, then output application JSON, and then our 3 dashes, and simply payload. So we're basically just going to transform whatever we receive from the input, and we are transforming it for an output, an application JSON output. So let's save this and let's run it to see if it works. I'm gonna close these two things and I'm gonna open my, where is it? Oh, my Thunder client. So I already have this here ready to run once this finishes deploying. All right, this was deployed correctly. So now let's see what we get back. And that's all. That is what we wanted to receive back. So we receive an array of different planes. Pretty much it says plane type, code, takeoff date, code 1 from airport, price, seats available to airport ID, airline, and total seats. And so on. We will have several like that. Let me stop this. And I also want to show you something that I prefer to do. That is me, that is not here on the training thing. But I just prefer to do this. So let me go back here to the transform message. And I already have something set up, which is called a snippet. So if I were to come here and add one of my user snippets, I have an external DW file in transform message, which basically will look like this. Let me format this document. So pretty much instead of having my DataWeave code here inside my XML, I want to have it in an external file because that's what I just prefer to have it like that. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to change these to response.dwl and I'm going to create this file. So it should be under DW in source main resources. I'm going to create a folder called DW, and inside that, I'm going to create the file response.dw. So here's where I'm going to have my DataWeave code. If I copy this thing from here, I'm just going to put it here and format this because it doesn't look good. And perfect, save. So now instead of having this, I'm going to have this one. So I can get rid of the transform message. And now I can just have this one that I just created. Now let's pay attention to the response that we are getting back. Again, we have plane, type, code, takeoff date, and so on. But if we go to the American Flights API that we have, the API specification that we had created, and we go to flights get, this is the response that we are supposed to be getting. So we're supposed to get ID, code, price, departure date, origin, destination, empty seats, and then plane. And inside plane, we have type and total seats. So it doesn't really match what we get from here. So we will have to transform this whole thing in order to get that. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to take this whole thing, I'm going to open the DataWeave playground. So if you go to dataweave.mulesap.com, then you can just click here on playground and this will open a new playground. So this is the response that we are getting back. If we put here just payload, we will be able to see it. And this is the format that we want to return. So let me take just how it should be. And I'm gonna put it here so we can see it inside a comment. All right, so first of all, we have an array and we also want to have an array here. I just took the object. So we're gonna do a map and we are gonna be mapping each one of these objects separately. So let me actually open an object right here. So we're gonna have ID and this is actually the same from here. So I can just do item.id and we will have all of the IDs. Then we have code. And this code actually comes from concatenating code 1 plus code 2. So what we're going to do is write code, and then first we're gonna concatenate code 1, item.code1. Make sure that you do a default quotes, because in case this is empty, we want to be able to continue concatenating. So that's what we're gonna have. And then plus plus, we're gonna have in parentheses item dot code 2. And we're gonna do the same thing of adding a default. And the default is gonna be, again, empty quotes. So this is what we have. So for example, if this was not here, then we would only have RREE, which is the code 1, but we don't have code 2, and so on. After that, we have the price, and the price comes directly from the price right here. So we can just do a direct price equals item dot price. And just in case this is also null, let's do a default 0. Then the departure date will actually come from takeoff date, which is right here. But we can see that the formatting is different, so we will have to fix that. Let's do comma, departure date, item dot takeoff date. So we're gonna have to transform this first. Let's make this a date as date. And it already changed, as you can see from here, but the format is still not quite right. So after putting as date, let's do as string, and we are now gonna format this however we want. So let's do format, and then in between quotes, let's add the format that we want. So we want year, 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 and then we want a slash, and then we want month, month, slash, day, day. So now this is formatted correctly as we wanted it in the output. Next thing is origin that comes from airport. So this is pretty straightforward. Origin colon item dot from airport. Perfect. Then destination, and this is also very straightforward. Item dot, and we have these two airports. So that is what we're gonna put here. Then we have empty seats. So let's do empty seats. And that would come from seats available. So item dot seats available. And then we have the other thing, which is plain in its own object. So plain. And then inside plain, we will have an object that has type. Oops. And because this is a keyword, we will actually have to write type in between quotes. So type comes from plain type, item dot plain type, and then comma and total seats, and these total seats come from the same total seats, so item dot total seats. And ta-da! Now we have the output that we wanted that actually looks like the output from our exchange or from API specification. So this is the code that we need. So let's just copy that and go back here and put it in the response. So I'm just gonna put it just like that and save it. So now let's run this again and see if this works. Okay, this has been deployed. Now let's go to our thing and send the request once again. And now we correctly receive the new thing, new structure, the new JSON structure that we needed for our API. So yay, we got this implementation running. We are correctly connecting to the database, and we are then sending this information from the database, transforming it to a JSON payload, and transforming it into the desired format that we need for our API. All right, that is all for day 22 of Codetober. I will see you tomorrow for day 23, and we are almost done with this year's Codetober. See you tomorrow then. Bye!